Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Ask a Photo Pro. We are at episode 11 for season 4. Episode 11, baby. And we are rocking with, I don't want to say a new setup, but a little bit of a new setup. We are trying OBS 29 today. So keep your fingers crossed that there's no issues with OBS 29. The thing that's different about this little run is I actually have two canvases. If you guys have seen any content about streaming lately, you can see this is OBS. So this is what I use to broadcast my message out to you guys. This is a regular 19 by 20, 1920 by 1080 window, and this is a vertical canvas. So I now have the ability to stream vertically somewhere else simultaneously while I'm streaming here. And I also have the ability to make vertical shorts, vertical contents while I'm live here, which is bananas. Usually what I would have to do is make a clip and then from the clip use an app to make that vertical content and then upload it. Now, OBS kind of has a way to do it automatically, so it's super cool. Today we are talking about shooting through the picture. Shooting through the picture, I'm going to get into that deep today, how I almost shoot my photo shoots, my portfolio content, my jobs in almost like a mathematical way. So we're going to show you a little bit of that. I have fluff on me. I don't like fluff. And then later, or actually we're going to start off. We'll start off by talking about why creatives shouldn't charge by the hour. Many of you guys are probably at the point now where you're starting to charge for your photography, or you're getting close to charging for your photography. Today, we're going to talk about why you should be charging by the project or charging by the idea versus charging by the hour. It's all about value. It's all about you valuing your work at a higher level and getting the people who are hiring you out of the mindset of you're an hourly worker. Pricing creativity should be different than pricing labor per se. Yeah? So we're going to talk about that as well. I am here and open to all of your questions. Welcome, Vicky. I'm glad you're here, girl. I'm open and ready to answer all of your photography related questions, of course, as well. This is indeed Ask a Photo Pro. Today, let's start with talking a little bit about why you should not be charging by the hour. We're going to start off watching a short video from a creator. His name is Chris Doe. This is a short 2.5-minute video. Chris Doe has a channel called The Future. And The Future, I'm going to just let him explain, and then I'm going to expand on Chris's take. So let's get into a little bit of reacts, pricing, design work, and creativity. This is going to be helpful. Hope you guys find it as helpful as I did. Let's go.
So you want to know my hourly rate. So my hourly rate's this times this. So I have a question for you, client. Why do you want to know my hourly rate?
I guess I want to know where my $18,000 is going.
This is so important.
Okay, so does that mean if I do work less hours, I should charge you less?
Yeah.
So if I go over those hours, I should charge you more?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
so
really important.
you're saying to me, you value this logo taking longer rather than shorter. So it means if I just tell you it took me 4 months to work on it, you will now owe me $36,000.
Right?
If it's in my budget and if I think you're worth it,
Right.
But I would also ask, why would it take that long to make that logo?
I want to put a lot of effort into it.
But I could hire somebody else who would charge me the same rate but do it quicker.
So you value time over money then?
Sure. As a business
Okay.
person, yeah.
So here's the deal. I
Right?
work really fast.
This is
I can come up
super.
with a logo.
This is so mental when you really think about the way that Chris is breaking this down. You have to think about this for your photography pricing, and we're going to get into this right after this video.
But I'm being punished for me being efficient and really good. You understand? The logic doesn't work now.
Sure.
That's the problem. So clients can't have it both ways. They can't say, tell me how many hours, but you can't go over it. I can't put a cap on it. It has to have some symmetry to the logic. So if I work less, you want me to pay me less. So then there's a lot of analogies that you can draw now. Most business people value time. Sure. Remember the beginning of our talk? Time is the most important thing I have. That's it. So if I could do a logo for you right now and you love it in 5 minutes, are you saying it's worth less than 18 or is it worth more now? Because I saved you a lot of time. We can go to market right now.
Right.
It's worth more. So charging by the hour punishes me for being good. Now I'll tell you what, you can hire 4 interns straight out of school. They'll charge a couple $100 total and you'll wait. And then you'll say it's not right, but you can't articulate to them and they don't know why. And you keep waiting, you keep revising, and what aren't you doing now? You're not running your business, Jung. Shouldn't you be focused on your business? So my job is this, Jung. I'm going to give you an amazing logo that you're not going to have to change for a long time. A mark that you're going to be proud of, that people are going to look at and clearly understand what it is that you do. That's worth $18,000.
Right.
Today. Come back to me in a year, it'll be 26. That's what it's worth today. That's it.
That this guy is so gangster, and I have to tell you, really, this is the whole point when it comes to breaking down our photography and our pricing. It's all about value. And for me, like, let me break it down in how I break down my pricing. I charge by idea. So if the way that I charge for my pricing is via idea. So if you imagine, I charge per look, essentially. So because I charge per look, my questions in the beginning of doing a photo shoot are, how many ideas do you want? How many different ideas do you want me to execute? Now, that's a question that I'm going to just make some notes here. All right, here we go. So because I charge by idea, what ends up happening is my clients know in the beginning that they're not paying by the hour. They're paying by the idea. So essentially, what my clients learn early is that they're paying for my ideas, not for my time. And my ideas, they come quickly. So imagine how I look at it. If someone calls me and says they want to do a photo shoot, we have to ask questions, right? And what those questions are, for me, first is, what am I shooting? And you'll find out, okay, I want you to shoot headshots. This is a very, very, very typical conversation. They want me to shoot headshots. So the next thing that I ask is, how many different ideas do you want for your headshot? Do you just want one, which nobody wants just one? You want to get multiple ideas so you can have multiple different variations of your headshots, yes or yes? The answer to that, of course, is always yes. So usually I say 1, 2, or 3 ideas or more. I can shoot 4 ideas even. You know, I mean, 4 ideas is going to take me roughly 3 hours. So, um, don't freak me out, Howie. 4 ideas is going to take me roughly 3 to 4 hours. One idea is going to take me 15 minutes. 2 ideas is going to take me 45 minutes. 3 ideas is going to take me roughly 60 to 90 minutes. And 4 ideas could take up to 3 hours, right? But I don't think about that when I'm doing my pricing. Although I do need to know how much time roughly it's going to take for me to do each one of these ideas. But the way that I price it, it's about value, right? It's about what the client is getting and how what we're trying to create as photographers, we're trying to create double thank you moments. Oops, little pen action here. We're trying to create double thank you moments. And I'm going to explain that to you right now. Double thank you moment means this. Your client is equally as happy and satisfied and is willing to be like, oh my God, thank you for shooting this, because the client's perceived value of your work is greater than what you're charging. So our goal as photographers is to create value when it comes to shooting with us. Value. Now, how our value comes is with our talent, Value comes directly from our talent and skills, right? So if you know that you have talent and skills and you value your time and your photography skills, your pricing should be via or for the idea or for the project. Imagine if you want to flip it and not charge like package A, B, C, and D, which I'm going to get back into in a second. You can literally you can think of it like, do you want to give a little bit, a medium amount, or a lot? Now, most people are going to gravitate on the medium amount. Some people will want everything. They're going to just want it all. And some people just want almost like a single picture. If you think of your time like this takes the least amount of time, this takes a medium amount of time, this takes the most amount of time. You think how much to yourself this is valued. And for me, we'll call this, meaning the big headshot shoot, we'll call this 750. We'll call the medium one 400. And we'll call the small one 250, right? Now, if you're charging for your ideas, then you can think of it this way. For 250, you get one idea. For 400, you get 2 ideas. For 750, you get 3 ideas. It has nothing to do with time, because as Chris Dio said so eloquently, there's no reason that we should not be punished for being good. I'm going to say that again. As photographers, we shouldn't be punished for being efficient, for being professional, for being fast, for being efficient. We shouldn't be punished for being efficient. And because we're trying to not punish ourselves for being efficient, there's photo shoots that I've shot 3 looks in an hour. And 3 looks in an hour, that's me making $700 in an hour. But it doesn't always happen. I've also spent 4 hours shooting 3 looks, which should have happened in an hour. So now those situations where that's more like your relationship with each person is different. So the clients that are more nervous in front of the camera, the clients that are slower to like acclimatizing to you taking pictures of them, those clients shouldn't be penalized because they're nervous. They shouldn't be penalized for being new in front of the camera. You can't expect your subjects to just be on. And again, if you're charging them by the hour, you're penalizing them for not being good in front of the camera. And also, you can take your time and be really slow. And what that does is it means it's like you're bleeding them for money because you're just making your photo shoot take longer when it doesn't necessarily have to. So for all of those reasons, that is why we don't charge by the hour. We charge by the project. And if you think about that, going back here to A, B, C, and D, these are tiers, right? We'll call these tiers. A tier, B tier are entry, price to entry. C tier, D tier are a little bit more exploratory. They're a little bit more committed. Now, we can price this under $500. We'll say less than $500. Is that less than? I think that's a less than. Or is it the other way? I forget. Maybe it's the other way. I always mess that up in school. $500. And this one is greater than $500. $500, right? So know that if we're making photos, we're making at least $500, right? And it has the potential to be more. Now, going on value, we want our clients to be choosing either the medium or the high tier. And how we get people to choose the medium or the high tier is incentives and also add-ons. We can give high-res files as a bonus. For me, we sell high-res files. High-res files are not free. So how you create a double thank you moment is by adding value. So if the client is paying for one look or one idea, what we're going to give them is variations. Oops. That's some bad writing. Variations. We're going to get headshots. We're going to get 3/4. We're going to get full length. And in shooting one look that you're promising them that they get one final, if you shoot it in such a way where you're doing variations, you're giving them headshots, 3/4, and you're giving them full length, how does your client just choose one when they have an amazing headshot times they have so many amazing headshots that you've given them to choose from this one look. You've given them so many 3/4, you've given them so many full lengths. You've made it impossible for them to choose just one final. So what that does is it gives you value. It makes your photo shoots valuable, because for one photo shoot that you've charged them $250 for and given them one final, they now can buy more finals. And I charge $50 per final. And the way that I shot that photo shoot, there is no way that the client can choose just one. It's impossible. I've given them too much value. So for the people who hire me to shoot one look at $250, that I include one final, and the extra finals are $50, they actually usually end up ordering or asking for 5 more finals, which equals another 250. So that ends up being a $500 photo shoot from a 250 photo shoot. And also, they feel like they are getting more value than what they paid for, because out of a shoot where they assumed they were getting one photo, they got so many more, and they're willing to pay to get access to those photos. Now, Mark asks, how high is high res? I give 300 DPI roughly times 4,000 pics. Exactly what you're saying, Mark. I do this because I people are hiring me for print ready files, especially if you're doing headshots. They may have to actually print that photography. And because printing when you're doing headshots is so necessary, you have to factor in the fact that you're giving them a high res retouched finished file. And that's what the value is when you're selling them additional files for $50 each. They're high res and they're printable. So, and you also give them a web version. I mean, obviously, I give them web ready versions of everything that they pay for high res. And when I'm sharing the work, they don't get high res files after I shoot it. They get low res, unprintable, watermarked files, which protects you from having your clients using your proofs and not paying for your finals. So there's a time to do watermarks. You watermark your proofs. That is the angle. So to expand now on value, if you're now doing photo shoots that have multiple looks, like you're shooting 2 looks and 3 looks, and I'm going to get into this in a second when I start showing you files, because charging and not charging by the hour and then shooting and shooting through the picture, the way that I shoot multiplies the amount of money that I can make in finals. And I want you guys to really think about that. I shoot in such a way that maximizes the amount of finals that happens at the end and makes it an essential skill for them to be getting more. And also, if they don't get more now, they might call me a month from now and say, I want 10 more files. I mean, for me, I try to do all the high res finals at once. So I give them incentives if they want to order a bunch of finals, that they'll get them at a discounted rate if they get them now. If they're not getting these high res files now, they're getting them 3 months from now, well, they're cheaper paying full freight. So that's kind of smart money. So when you're shooting 2 and 3 looks, every one of those looks, like I mentioned before, every one of those looks, you're shooting headshots, you're shooting 3/4, and you're shooting full. And you're doing variations. You're doing lots and lots and lots of variations. Like it's literally mathematical. I shoot until I know that I have a final, and then I nail that final and really, really kill it. So there's like 10 or 15 different ones in that idea. Then I change the idea, not necessarily the clothing. I change the idea, remix it, and I start it all over again. Shoot full length, half length, head court, like 3/4 headshots. I get all of this stuff on every look. So on each one of these 3 looks, there's 20 finals. There's 25 finals from every look. So we do a photo shoot that they're paying me for 3 looks. And at the end, they have 75 pictures that they have to have. They have to have. Mark asks, What do I export to clients if they don't pay extra for high res? Yes, they get, it's even smaller than that, Mark. And I'm going to show you what my web galleries look like as well, if you remind me. They're not, they're not 2000 DPI. I don't give them that large. I think it's on the, and again, I'll show you because I'm going to open my Google Drive and I'll show you what my files actually look like. But I try to give them not large. Like I try to give them pictures that, yes, you can see them, but they're considered small and they're watermarked. So I also like to show them an example of like, hey, this is what the high res looks like, so they can actually see what a final looks like, so they know. Once they see a final, they're going to want more. Okay, so once you're thinking about value with your pricing and shooting in such a way that you're making it impossible for clients to not get additional photos, what you're creating is evangelists. And also, don't spend too much time on ideas that aren't working. The ones that are working, we really can push through those ideas. But it's important for us as photographers to not spend so much time on ideas that aren't working. Let me go through. And the last, again, reasons why we shouldn't charge by the hour. We shouldn't be penalized for being good. It's simple. We shouldn't, let me just learn how to spell. We shouldn't be penalized for being good. It's simple. Our talent, our efficiency, we shouldn't be penalized for being good. We also have equipment. We also have computers. We also have skills as far as our post-production, our pre-production. There's so much that goes into a photo shoot. We can't be charging $50 an hour. We can't be charging by the hour at all. And in fact, I want you guys to all think about this today. And I want you to also incorporate this into your life. What's the minimum amount that you'll shoot for? What's the minimum amount that you'll pick up your camera and shoot for? What's that number for you? I'm going to tell you a secret. Do you want to know what my secret number is? This is my number. That is my secret number, which is the minimum amount of money that I will look through my camera for that. Now, to give you a headspace as far as how much time roughly I value this amount of money, for this amount of money, how much time do you think I give for, I'm going to ask you guys, chat, how much time, how much photography time do you think that I give for the amount that I've put right there on the screen? How much time do you think that I give? Spetty says 30 minutes. Next, anyone else? Guesses for how much time I give for roughly, and again, keeping in mind, I'm not charging by the hour, I'm not charging by the time, but I'm interested in your guesses. Spetty says 30 minutes. Anyone else? Mark says one look. That you're right. You're absolutely right. Like Mark, you're absolutely ahead of the game with that's one look. Yes. One look. How much money do time varies? Yes, you're absolutely right as well. There is definitely a time variable. But Spetty is very close with the how much time in my head I'm thinking it should take me to nail one look and shoot through the way that I do and give my client roughly, say, 100 frames. I 44 games says 1 hour. I give this is how much they get for that amount of money. The reason is because I know in this time I can give them 10 finals. I know in this time I can give headshots 3/4 full length in one location that's lit, that looks incredible, that they're gonna think afterwards that I'm magic. And that's the perception. The perception is I'm able to shoot you. I'm able to shoot any person, anytime, any place with any camera in roughly 15 minutes and give you magazine covers. And it's guaranteed or your money back. So if I'm thinking that way, well, then in an hour, I should be able to do 2 of these, right? Like with a little bit of switchover. And now it's like you're making $500 an hour. And also, that person that you shoot for 15 to 20 minutes, you charge them what you charge them, and they get from that 5 finals that are mind-blowing. If you imagine this value right here for 250, if you gave them 5 finals, which is insane, don't do that. But if you gave them 5 finals and you charge or you value your finals at $50 per, you understand that you're shooting for free, right? You're shooting for free. You're actually shooting for the price of the finals. 5 finals, $50 a final. 5 times 50 is 250. So, like, if you think about if you're giving 5 finals, you're shooting for free. For me, for a 1 look rate, I give like 2 finals. If they're nice, I'll give them 3. But it used to be 1. I used to give 1 final for that price. And recently I started to add a little bit more value. Like, giving finals is free for us. It's just time. It doesn't cost us money to give a client a final, but the value to the client for a high res file is it's infinite. It's infinite. So if you use your high res files as bonuses, like, oh, I'll give you 2 high res files, or I'll give you 3 high res files for this price, and you explain to them, my high res files, I charge 50 per. So if I'm giving you 3 finals and I'm charging you 250, the 3 finals equal 150. So basically, I'm shooting you for $100. So that's why we're not shooting all day. You understand that, right? And I don't need to shoot all day to get you what we need, which is these 3 amazing finals. And in fact, you should, if you're pricing this way, you should be thinking about how many can you do in an afternoon. Can you shoot 5 people in a day? Can you shoot 8 people in a day? Can you shoot 10 people in a day at this rate? Because it only takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes for you to and I'm not talking like you can only quote these kinds of time factors if you feel like you're good enough to nail this kind of a scenario. You know, for me, and 44's guess of 1 hour, you're right on the button for most photographers. I mean, I've been shooting for 30 years, so my experience level is usually a little bit further than most photographers. But if you use that 1 hour as a guide, that there's no rush. There's no rush at all. And you're getting $250 for that hour, which is pretty good, right? So use that hour as a guide. And no, for me, 150 seems like a low quote. Yeah, I mean, again, we're being paid for photographic services, right? We're being paid for photographic services. So because we're being paid for photo services, they're paying for the service. Now, you have to like give them a hard copy. You have to give them, or like digital files, you have to give them something which is a result of what they're paying for. The first thing you give is a web gallery, a Google Drive of low res of everything that you shot, that they are not able to use everything. They don't own everything. They get that to as a contact sheet. It's a digital contact sheet for them to choose their finals. Now, another thing that I recently added, as well as adding more finals, another thing that I recently started doing is I will offer a little bit of an incentive to get them to like have more pictures. Is I'm willing to sell them my web gallery. This is something that I just started doing because clients started asking. Clients were asking for all the pictures. So this is a very strange ask. They're asking for all my images. And I will never, ever give all my images for, and by the way, 44 Games is saying it seemed low, like the quote of like 250 as far as the minimum amount that I'd shoot for seems low. Keep in mind, it's rarely 250. It's usually 350. But yo, Spetty, have a great afternoon, dude. I'm glad you were here today. Clients were asking for all my images, and what I decided to do was sell an unwatermarked gallery of like oftentimes my proofs straight at a camera, you can use them. So what I offered was, okay, you can have low res, meaning I will give you 100 DPI times say I'll give you like a 1920 by 1080 picture, roughly. You know, so it's like an HD web picture, but it's not printable. And I will process the entire gallery out at this res for a flat rate of $200, roughly. So for $200, you can have everything that I shot and it's usable, but you can't print it. And it's not high res and it's unretouched. It's something that's key. Like literally all I'm doing is a little bit of color adjustments, exposure adjustments, and I'm taking out all the blinks and I'm just batch processing everything and just giving it to them. And unwatermarked, and I'm charging $200 for that. I mean, number one, clients that want everything, these people will literally use your watermarked pictures and post like photo by Steve Carty watermarked on their Instagram, which is fine. It's great advertising, but it doesn't look good on us because it's not the best representation of our work. We want our clients to have the highest quality, the highest resolution of our work that we have available. That's what we want our clients to have. So anytime that we can incentivize them to get more files, more of our files out there in the world is advertising. Every time that we give our clients an experience, like the photo shoot is not just the act of making photos, it's an opportunity for you to create evangelists. It's an opportunity for you to create an experience for your subject. Every time you create an experience for your subject will remember you. They'll remember your name. And then when they're showing your photos and the person who's looking at them say, who shot this? They're not like, I don't know, some photographer. They're like, Steve Carty shot this. And it was amazing. And then they're going to have stories and they're going to they're going to have stories and they're going to be evangelizing the scenario. They're going to be talking about how incredible it was to work with you. They're going to be talking about that because you took care of them so epically. Yes. So I do sell an unwatermarked gallery, which I just added that option recently. I just added that recently. So as we continue on this thing that we are calling the breakdown, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I mean when I talk about shooting through the picture. Shooting through the picture is something that I think, I don't know if enough people shoot this way, but if you look, and I'm going to show you, you're really getting, I'm showing you behind the fifth wall, and also the mentality as far as why I do what I do. If you look at one of my, hello, hello. There we go. If you look at one of my web galleries or one of my aperture libraries, there we go. What you'll see is what looks like, very much looks like the same photograph over and over again. It's what it looks like. It's not the case, but it's what it looks like, because what I'm doing is I'm nailing a composition. And you can see here, this is a cover composition that I'm shooting. It's a cover. This is what I'm aiming for, is what I'm looking for. And if you look at my frames, the variation between my frames is so narrow. And this is when I say shooting through the picture, the nuance is so narrow. You see the headspace. The headspace is because I'm shooting this as a cover of a magazine, and I'm also 8x12 is a full frame. That's what you're looking at. 9x12 is roughly what the crop will be. But you can see I have the canoes in the background. I have the apex. I have him wearing something that's contrasting to the orange that's next to him. I have these dot lights along the ceiling, and I'm just pushing through the final. And if I go back into gallery mode, you can see when I say I shoot 100 frames for one picture, this is the example. You're seeing it right here. Now, look at the variations. I've got his hair over his shoulders. Now, I've got this frame because I started it back here. So, I got that frame. Now, I put his hair back, and I shoot a bunch with his hair back. Now, for me, that made his stomach look a little bit more predominant as to when his hair and his arms were crossed and his hands. So I didn't shoot much of this because you see stomach, right? So how do you break it? Bring the hair forward. So now hair's forward, hands in the pocket. But do you notice nothing else about the framing has changed? This picture is still the same picture, the same composition, the same everything. And the only thing that we're changing is like hands in the pockets, expression, arms crossed, hair out, because we're tuning a radio. I'm shooting in it like shooting an exact cover that has to speak the exact. Oh, absolutely. 44. I'm giving him these. 44 asked, am I telling him to shift his looks in between? Absolutely. I'm telling him to lighten up his face, think a little bit more optimistic. So you can see I'm shooting now and there's the slightest variations. Now I have the picture and you can see starting from where I started, this is roughly 50 pictures later. 50 pictures later, I go on to the next, which is a horizontal version. And then now it's the same mathematical, like you can see early frames, exposure, positioning. And then once I have the positioning, then that's it. I'm shooting. And I'm just going through nuance. And shooting through the picture, you can see my frame is skewed. So it's only a matter of time before I start to correct that framing. He's obviously a little bit lighter here, but the variations between these frames, as you can see, it's so slight. Once I nail that frame, now it's a different idea. And now I'm on this idea. And you can see I didn't think that this idea worked very well, so I didn't stay on it. I switched to now another idea. Didn't like it, switched him back to this pose in a different location. Didn't like it, switched him back to here. Arms crossed in the same pose that we were doing before. This is a little closer. So now I'm working through this idea. I now offset him and I work through the offset idea. So I try a more dramatic low angle to see how this feels. And again, everything that, and again, this is client work. This is literally the biggest job I did last year. This was for Algoma University. As I meant, I told you guys, like this was a 3-day, $30,000 shoot. So there's like a lot that was kind of at stake with this one, but this was the first day and I wasn't even really scheduled to shoot this first day. I had 2 shoot days, but I forced this shoot to happen because the amount of material that I had to shoot over 2 days, I wanted to not screw myself. So I started shooting looks as soon as I landed. We grabbed somebody who I was scheduled to shoot later, and we shot him this first day. So you can see I'm actually back in the original idea. After shooting all of this, I'm now back in the original picture, and I'm shooting this original idea again, again, again. And it keeps going. And you can see when you're there's so much at stake when you're doing these projects. So with this first idea, and again, because it's my first look when I'm shooting my first look for a client, I usually, it's like how an animal sort of expresses dominance. I like to shoot the first look and establish who I am as a photographer. I like to establish like this is the level of work you're going to get. This is the level of professionalism. This is how I work. So that first look, I have a tendency to kind of overshoot it And for me, it sets a tone and it sets the tempo for the whole project. Again, you can see now I'm into another look where I'm using just the yellow monochromatic wall offset, and how I'm shooting so many of the same frame. And then I punch in, I shoot so many of the same frame. Um, this is like my photo shoots, especially jobs, they're not that exciting to look through because, as you can see, shooting through the picture, it's almost mathematic. It's almost mathematic how I do this. This first day, I shot like 550 frames, but of this first gentleman in this first idea, um, I shot 300 frames. 300 frames, and I did all of this probably in about 20 minutes. And after getting all the stuff with the canoe, you can see now I went into a whole different idea altogether using direct sun and really pushing the room into darkness. This is just an alternate idea that I saw that could work. So, although we didn't use this picture, I pushed through and really tried to see if there was a photograph there. So, I don't know. I think it's cool. All right, let's get into. Oops, that's not the right button. So the second part of that day was just shooting some apparel and other students. So again, the idea was have him profile, pulling the hoodie up, kind of looking. So we tried this idea, didn't work exactly. So we abandoned him pulling the hood up and just went to this 3/4 shot. Also, his skin. I'm going to show you the finals, which are Julie is my retoucher. Julie Lagovska, one of my viewers, is my second assistant and my retoucher. This boy had really bad skin, and he was really self-conscious about it. But I'm going to show you the finals, and it's as though he has absolutely perfect skin, and he was so happy with the fact that we fixed his skin. So amazing. Julie did a great job. So you can see here again, shooting through the picture, it's the same photo that I have to just make sure I nail with a nuance that, and this is how I'm able to capture like the essence of people. It's I shoot lots and lots of frames, and it's like a feeling. And after a while, your subject doesn't even realize photos are happening. After a while, it's like a dance, it's a rhythm, and the only way that you can get there is by shooting so many frames. And when you are shooting so many frames, it has to be mathematical. It almost has to be, you have to shoot them in such a way that you know what you're looking for. As you can see here, I'm shooting this as a cover. So I have the cover composition. This didn't end up being a cover, but I'm just pushing through to make sure that I nail that frame exactly. So this is just day one of this shoot that ended up being a 3-day thing. You can see day two and all the work that, and again, day two was 2,200 frames. Everything that I shoot exactly the same way. The same methodical composition first, body position in the frame, light. I go through every single element of this. I do it every look. And there's 50 to 100 shots per idea in order to get to that final. So shooting through the picture is something that is I just think that it's so absolutely critical to understand how to do it, how to shoot through the picture, why we need to shoot through the picture. I think the why is as important. Um, Listen, if you look at Ray says that this method was probably more difficult in the film days. I shot the same way. The only thing is like there would just be 12 frames instead of 50. It would be 12 frames of the same thing. Like I would literally shoot a roll of film per idea. So if I was shooting 10 looks, I needed 10 rolls of film because each roll was one look. And it was concentrated, meaning like I I had less variations between like I would shoot 12. So there'd be 4 full length, there'd be 4 3/4, there'd be 4 headshots. Like that's kind of how I would do it. So I would just be a little bit slower um with which shots that I would take, but the whole goal at the end still was to maximize the amount of finals that I could get from one roll of film. So on one roll of film, if I shot full length 3/4 and headshots, that means they'd pick 3 finals every roll. And if I shot 3 rolls of film and 3 looks, it would cost me X to process. It would cost me X to make contact sheets. And then I made my own prints and I could sell my prints for $25 each. And then I could make all of that profit. So yeah. Now let me show you what this Algoma final view book ended up looking like, because it ended up being something that, I mean, I'm goddamn proud of. The work looks fantastic. Let me just quit Lightroom here because, it's resource heavy, you know? It's resource heavy. All right, let me show you what this view book looked like because again, I'm proud of it. Proud of it. You know? Not every one of the shots. I mean, well, all the shots are mine except for some of the outdoor athletic stuff. So let me share. Cover. And they chose 4 different cover options. Inside. And again, you get to see where the work is, where the work goes, and what the work looks like when it's finished. You know? Another image. Julie's retouching is so beautiful. It looks just like mine. Didn't shoot this stuff. Didn't shoot this stuff. Didn't shoot this stuff. Didn't shoot this stuff. Of course, this is my photo on the upper. My photo on the upper. My photo on the upper and lower. Again, not you. We have no control over the layout. I can't control the layout, but obviously nothing there. That's my photo on the bottom corner. My photo there. Yeah, and again, this is definitely a photo of mine here. And look at this boy's skin. Look at his skin. Tell me I don't have the best retoucher in the game. Tell me I don't have the best retoucher in the game. So that is the view book. And again, that's just one of the instances where my photographs ended up being. They also were all over they did a what's it called? A conference. It's like the university conference for where all the universities sort of have their booths and students come to see what school they want to go to. This was the one in Toronto, and you can see my picture here in the back of the booth, my picture back here in the booth. and they're giving away the view book that I just showed you. So that is another instance of my work in the wild. And then this is just another perspective of it so you can see this photo a little bit better. Welcome, Gregory. Welcome, welcome. So that is work in the wild, and how shooting through the picture, you guys see how shooting through the picture is really it's how I'm able to achieve so many perfect finals on everything that I shoot. And I know, like, I don't know, I nail it every time. Ray Cleveland. Hey, Ray Cleveland. Look. Ray Cleveland. Look. I'm all over it, buddy. I'm all over it, my guy. But just FYI, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But just FYI, how I'm using OBS 29 is a little bit different than how I use OBS 28. Unfortunately, with OBS 29, the biggest plugin that I use for OBS is called Stream Effects. Stream Effects, it makes it so I can show you my old people watching. You notice how my camera here is not transformed properly. It's because the Stream Effects plugin doesn't work properly with OBS 29. But what does work is backtrack recording. So I've been using backtrack and using it to create vertical shorts while I'm recording tonight. Today is the first time that I'm actually trying to use the Move plugin may help. Yeah, I'm still learning this. I haven't actually, because most of how I want to use this is for YouTube. And this ATM plugin doesn't work on YouTube. It works only on Twitch. Because of that, it makes it a little bit limited for me. So, the next thing is I have a really nice system for my vertical shorts and having my vertical shorts in 4K. So I haven't quite again, the Move plugin, you can see I'm using the Move transition plugin. I started doing this recently using this plugin. I don't have it set up perfectly. Just because some of these show hides. Yeah, I'm still tweaking it. Believe me, I'm still tweaking it. But yeah, I added the Move plugin recently. All right, let's have a look at the Discord to see if you guys have any. Yeah, it's right now. It's capped at 1080 for vertical. No, I think it's actually. It might be 1920 general. It's 1920 is the cap for vertical. It's not quite like 4K yet. I wish it was. So I'm seeing, guys, that there's no photos to look at. There's no photos to review. I understand that you guys might be having the February blues, which I do understand. I do understand. Know that I'm here to support you. Know that that's part of my role as a mentor, as a coach, is to try to support you as you're going through these crazy times that we call winter. But yes, Spetty, where I would drop them is the photo bomb. Drop them in AAPP photo bomb, the Ask a Photo Pro photo bomb. Just drop them there. I would love to see what you're working on. I love to check in with you guys, see what you're working on. I know we have a talking to camera challenge that nobody did. I know that we have self-portrait assignments that not a lot of people shot. I know that we have body detail. All these challenges that I've given you so far this year, how many people have not done a single challenge yet this year? How many people have not done a single challenge yet this year? It's making me a little bit discouraged. Should I I've created programming for the entire year based on this whole challenge vibe, but I need you guys to submit photos. Submitting photos is how I help you. It's hard to help if I can't see what you're working on. So Ray has dropped some beautiful shots, my guy. Beautiful. Beautiful. New work from Ray Cleveland. Let's get it on. Let's go, Ray. Let's go. Really beautiful. Really beautiful work. There seems to be a little bit of focus miss on this first one, but I know you're focused on the stars. The stars are at infinity. This, obviously, it's the main interest of the photo. At close inspection, I know that your tightness is usually a lot tighter than this. Ray says it's slightly out of focus on both, really. That's more than okay, Ray. Listen, I know the capabilities that you have as a shooter. I know the level of photographer that you are. So don't worry. I'm not holding it against you, my guy. Look at this as a cover. Look at this as a cover. Like, it's just the money. Like, really, really dope, dude. Good shit. Good shit. By the way, guys, if you would like to submit photographs as well, in order to have me look at your photographs, you have to join the Discord. The Discord link is in the description of the video that you're watching right now. All you needs to do is join the Discord and start submitting. You'll find all the instructions as far as where to post photos. Photos get posted in my show categories. You'll see when you look at my Discord, you'll see Ask a Photo Pro right here. Photobomb is right at the bottom. Behind the picture, you'll see right here, Photo Drop is right on the bottom. Now, that is, you can submit anything there. I also have challenges and challenge submission tabs, which are empty. Empty. It's discouraging. I'm really hoping that there would be some more photos. But again, it's been a month. I started this whole progress a month ago. There has not been a ton of new photography submitted. So the more you guys submit, the happier Carty will be. Ray submitted 2. So let's look at Ray's second photo. Let's go, Ray. This is really dynamic and has a really beautiful dynamic range. Let me hide my camera so you can get full effect. Really beautiful, Ray. Really beautiful. I love the depth back here. I love the sharpness. The light is gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. I think you nailed it, Ray. This is absolutely dope. Absolutely dope. Let's go. You had 2 power lines going through it. Did you take them out? Did you take out the power lines, Ray? Because there's no evidence of power lines whatsoever. Well done. Those are Ray Cleveland's 2 photographs. Beautiful. Beautiful. And Spetty, who loves to shoot the strange, the occult, the macabre, the scary. Spetty, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous selfie, bro. Look at this idea. I'm going to hide my camera. I'm going to zoom in for you to get full effect. Look at this photo. So crazy, Spetty. Let's go. Great one. Great one. I love this a lot. Let's look at your next photo, which has a warning. Sometimes Spetty's photographs are scary. And if you don't like clowns, now would be the time to look away. If you don't like clowns, you are warned. Clown warning. Spetty's second photo. Let's have a look. Wow. I'm not sure if you added grain or if it's just how you shot it. The texture's really nice. The texture's really nice. I feel like it could use a little bit more punch of light in the foreground. You know, like the main body of your picture in here, I feel like could use a touch more exposure, but this is being lit exclusively from this window light back here, even possibly a reflector, Spetty, in front of you. Like if you hold a reflector against your chest, you know what I mean? And then go like this, the light that's coming off the window hits your chest and pushes back a little bit. I know you don't want this light to be major. I know the kickback has to be ever so slight, but I feel like a little bit of a reflector, forgot his reflector at home, against your chest as you're shooting this would have brought this back up. I think it needs to be a third brighter in this area, and a third is very, very slight, Spetty. I mean, come on. It's a little bit. You still have detail and texture in here. I just think that the face, which is such high impact, I feel like you would have got more face detail with just a little bit more exposure dropped in here. But again, you did a great job, dude. You should be very, very proud. That is 2 photos from the one they call Spetty Sanchez, also known as Sergio Garcia. Let's go, Spetty. Good job, buddy.
Let's go.
All right. And guys, I think that is it for the photos today. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to hang out a little bit longer to answer any questions that you may have about anything photography related. I hope today's talk about shooting through the picture, showing you how I shoot through the picture, and of course, pricing, giving you valid reasons for not charging by the hour. I hope you guys found that helpful today. Don't charge by the hour. If you're a creative, I hope you guys are definitely inspired as far as your value as a creative, your value as a creator, the work that you have, the equipment that you have, the skills that you have. You do not deserve to be penalized because of your talent. Don't charge yourself at $50 an hour, $100 an hour. If I was making $100 an hour, I'd fucking kill myself. Seriously, you need to value your work higher. And no, the proof is in the pudding. If you're a sure thing, if you are a guaranteed thing, if someone hires you to shoot a portrait fashion mini session and you know the work that you're going to give them is going to be valuable, that's worth something. And you need to set your minimum amount that you'll take photos for. Again, I said my minimum amount was $250. You should, I mean, I haven't got that low to shoot photos in a really long time. Like most people will want to shoot more than just one look. But imagine if I shoot something for $250, it's going to be cash. It's going to take me less than an hour. It's going to be like a wham bam thank you ma'am. They're going to be in, they're going to be out, they're going to be happy with their finals, and I'm going to have cash in my pocket that I can go use for other things, you know? So those fast, quick transactions, you also have to be able to translate those quick mini sessions and the mentality and how you shoot them for profitability, how you shoot them in such a way that there's too many photographs on the table that the client isn't getting. You have to do that. You have to create a double thank you moment. You have to create more value in your photography than the price that you're getting paid. If you're getting paid $50, you don't value your photography, and the person who's hiring you doesn't value your photography. You are just a camera holder if you're charging $50 for you to shoot photos. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about the photographs that you're making. And the person who's hiring you, they don't give a shit about you. They'll give anybody with a camera money because they're paying $50. People pay $50 for a sandwich. You know what I mean? So value your work higher, where people have to take it a little bit more serious, and people will be bragging about how much they spent. Look, I spent $500 on this photo shoot, but it looks like I spent $5,000, you know? Little bit about pricing and value, and I hope you feel like Chris Doe, the future, that video that I started off with, I hope that really inspired you. Father Howie is asking, am I okay with you submitting photos from your phone rather than DSLR? Howie, I know that you love photography. I know that you have a DSLR. I know that you're trying to progress and get better. Know that every time that you shoot with that DSLR, it's going to make you better. Every time you shoot with that DSLR, it's going to make you better. But know that there's also going to be times that you're going to get something amazing that you only had your phone with you. And I want you guys to think of your iPhones or whatever phone you have. Think of your phones more like your point and shoot. Think of it more like the camera that you have with you all the time. The way that I use my phone camera is like a black and white. I always have my phone camera set on black and white. So when I make a photograph with my phone, it feels more like a photograph and less like a phone picture, you know? So I don't have a Leica, so I'm not able to walk around with a Leica around my neck. Instead, I have a $5,000+ R5. I opted for a more of a production camera than a camera that I feel like I can't do full studio production shoots with. You know what I mean? Like street photographer's camera. I mean, a Leica, yes, you can do amazing things with, but for me, it's a novelty. It's not a workhorse for me, you know? Again, you can argue all you like about Leicas versus like workhorses for photography, you know? But I still want one. I still think that they're very desirable and beautiful, but I use my phone in the way that I would use a Leica. It's with me all the time. It's discreet. I can shoot quiet photos that no one really notices that I'm taking photos, and I can go about my business, you know? But anytime that I go out to take photos, I have a camera with me, you know? So I know that you're not always going to see photos when you're out shooting looking for photos. And I know that you're going to see photos at times when you're not looking for photos. They're just there. So having an iPhone, having a phone camera, it's valid and it's necessary for you to shoot that way. And if your overall question is, are you allowed to submit? I would hope that you would, Howie. I would hope that you would submit something that you captured that moved you, irregardless as to what camera you shot with. Know that I don't care at all about the cameras that you shoot with. I just want you to continue to get better and exercise your right to be creative. What a perfect way to end off today's episode. I hope you guys like my content. If you do like this type of long form content, know that long form content is the new meta. We can't learn about everything that there is to know about all aspects of creativity and photography and billing and charging and all that stuff in 5 minutes, you know? So I started this podcast almost 2 years ago. And guys, you'll be happy to know that February is my 2-year anniversary month for streaming these photography streams. On the 15th of February, it is my official 2-month anniversary for streaming Behind the Picture. So all of our episodes here in February are special. All of our episodes here in February are special because it is also Black History Month, where we are celebrating visible minorities. We are celebrating Black creators, and being a visible minority on YouTube and getting a little bit of attention is nice. So everybody who's taken the time to tune in to me today, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh shit, watch this. You call yourself a photographer. Look how you're dressed. Yes, you. You just wear track pants, t-shirt. If you're gonna wear track pants and a t-shirt, at least look fly like me. Here, take this. Right? How fly do you look now? If you guys want to get the flyest apparel for creatives and photographers, you gotta tune into that merch store. There it is. Look at, I have over 100 items spread between 2 merch stores, limited edition drops. Every video that you watch on YouTube, as well as on all my channel pages, you'll see the links for my merch store. Make sure that you guys jump in there and look fly like I do when you're shooting. Let's get it on. So you guys know that one of the ways, because I'm not monetized as yet, one of the ways that my channel is monetized is by you guys supporting by buying that merch. I made a commercial for my merch because I don't have any commercials during my stream. So I made my own commercial. Know that every little bit of merch that you guys buy, I put the funds from that merch back into producing this content for you. So everybody who's out there that has bought some of my limited edition photography gear, thank you. Thank you. I'm so surprised as far as how well my merch store does. It's crazy. Every time I go back there, it seems like someone else has bought something. So I have to continually talk about it because not a lot of people know that I make the flyest merchandise for photographers and creatives. So get yourself something cool. I appreciate you guys all for watching. Again, as mentioned, likes are how this video gets out to more people. Please consider tapping that like button. We're trying to get 10, 15 likes for this video. Also, if you like long form content, if you are an emerging pro, if you're trying to get to the next level with your photography, I help emerging photographers just like you level up their photography through coaching, mentoring, photo reviews, inspiration, insights from me, a pro who's been doing this professionally since 1990. Started taking pictures when I was 14, which was in 1984. If you do the math, that makes me 52, looking like I'm 30. Yeah? Love you guys. Thank you all for watching. You guys know me. I've been Steve Carty, like I am every day. I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays at 2 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. Always talking photography. See you guys soon.